Because last time it did not. All right, we should be on. Welcome, everybody. Today is October 23rd, 2024. This is your online critique for Leading Lines, which is the Greater-Rochester-Camera-Club winter show theme. We are excited to see some new faces tonight. We have Jacqueline here. Athena brought her as a guest. And Kara, we have you tonight. We don't always see you very often. And Colleen, it's nice to see you. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
We have lots of people in. I think that Ben said we have 17 photos coming tonight. So a tiny bit of housekeeping. Upcoming events. So next month, David Doxey is coming. I'm going to get a flyer out. We're struggling to, he's having some trouble getting some stuff to me. But I'm just going to send out a pretty generic flyer because time is ticking and it's the 13th. So I want to get that out sooner than later. Show image drop-off is November 22nd from 4 to 6. And then again on November 23rd from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The size requirements are 24 by 16, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
And that is finished size. So that means the frame counts. And if you're doing a creative framing, just make sure the total outside inches equal 40, no greater than 40. They do need to be named, but don't have to be priced. But they also should be ready to hang. So that means like D-hooks with the wire across the back, no sawtooth, because there's already a hanging system at RPAC for us. And it's just easiest if we can use the system that they have in place to get them up quickly. Then we will have our show opener on December 1st. I did confirm finally today with Lisa from RPAC. We are all set. We're going to have some judges come in and they will have first at it. And then after the judges have finished their judging, we will have a potluck and you'll be receiving maybe a sign up. I'm not really sure how we're going to do that. Deb's going to help work on that so that we can get some items for a potluck and enjoy the afternoon together. Did I miss anything? I don't think for leadership. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
Well, we are excited. So it's kind of fun that I don't get to see any images by accident now with our new way to upload. Sarah, it was easy breezy once I was logged in. Because then I sent her a message panicking last night. I'm like, I don't get in. And she was like, are you logged in? I'm like,
yeah, that was my whole thing too. I didn't know yet. And then the 12-digit password. Really, Sarah? I will never remember that one.
So I think it worked out. Ben is going to be our host tonight, so he can actually tell us if it was easy or challenging. There he is, host Ben Kramer. So he's going to be leading us through critique tonight. And just a quick review for critique. When your image pops up, you have about 30 seconds to talk about your image, and then we will open it up to the floor for feedback on things that we like, things that we appreciate, and any suggestions we try to keep towards the end of the conversation so that we get some positives before some suggestions.
So we're going to keep this to a strict 5 minutes because we have so many pictures.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll time it again.
So if we're way over and it's hard to butt in, Lisa, I would just start, or you can start waving your hands, but Ben's not going to see that, but we'll see that, and then we'll know to kind of wrap up our conversation. Yep. Perfect. All right, Ben, are you all set?
I should be. Let me.
Okay, you should have screen share saving. Wow, share screen ability. And he does.
All right.
All right. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay. This thing is so big. All right. First up, we have Robin.
I had to figure out how to unmute myself because I am on my phone. So I took this picture up at Mouseham. I was hoping to get back up there and redo it, but you know, you only got a short time frame before the leaves are gone. I wish I did it at a slightly different angle so that I could get the water, more of the water, but I'm okay with it as it is.
So something I have a question about. What did you use to take this photo?
I have a Fuji X-T5, and I can't remember which lens I used.
Okay. Something that stood out to me, and I don't know if this was on purpose or the camera did this, but these leaves on the bottom are particularly well focused compared to the boards right in front of them. And it's almost like we have some multiplanar focus going on.
Well, I did do a focus stacking. So I did
Okay.
take multiple pictures going in different angles. I didn't put it on autofocus stacking. I put it on a manual focus stacking, and my step probably wasn't where it needed to be, but I did start at the leaves and work my way down.
Interesting. I was wondering if there was some focus stacking.
Yep, focus stacking, and then I put it into Helicon Focus to stack it and process it.
Nice.
What package was that, Robin?
Helicon Focus.
Okay, cool.
It's much, much faster than Photoshop. So if you try to do, so like if you're doing a macro, I did the online focus stacking with Emily from Hunts, and it was a fantastic presentation. And she talked about it, but she was saying that, you know, when you're using a macro lens and you're doing focus stacking, you might have to take up to 105 pictures in order to get everything into frame. Yep. And if you were to do that on Photoshop, to stack them and compress them and align them, it could take you up to a half an hour. Yep. With Helicon Focus, it can do it in less than 10 minutes.
How do you spell that?
Helicon.
I've used that before. It has a trial version, and the nice thing about it is it has a lot more customizability for your focus stacks.
Yes, I haven't explored that much. I just used the render and let it do. But one day I'll get back in there and focus. You can do a lifetime membership, or you can do a year membership. I think the lifetime might be like $250 or something, but you can do like $50 a month. But it's pretty cool. You can do center weighted, you can do pyramid. But yeah. So it kind of cuts down the time and does its own little thing and stacks it up.
Cool. This shot reminds me of football season with the 2 goals there. So.
I know, doesn't it? So I wish I'd gotten up to a slightly different angle, but I didn't get back.
Cool shot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Oh.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was going to say the same thing, Reed, that the line, the dock brings me right down to the goalpost. And then the winter trees they're not just right in between the goalposts, but they're outside of it as well. So but the goalpost really does make you focus on on those 3 bunches of trees down there.
Yeah, and fall is football season, so.
Right.
I'm gonna say the trees are the audience, and these 2 are standing up in their seats.
I like that.
Doing the wave.
I hope the guy running through the goalpost has a wetsuit on, but other than that.
Yeah, because the water was probably a little cold.
I do love the fact that there are leaves in the foreground, though. That's very nice
focus
photo, and love the colors.
It was a little bit of a challenge because I had to go in the woods and find them, bring them up on the dock. The wind was blowing and wanted to keep blowing them away, but you know, you stick with it. I brought my old dog with me. He was also trying to sniff around on the leaves, but you know, it was still a fun day.
Beautiful.
Oh, hello, Kitty. Welcome back.
You staged your leaves well because they looked natural to me. So
Yeah, I thought they were too.
Yeah, like I said, I just wished I moved the leaves further down the dock and shot a little higher versus I had a travel tripod. So it was down very, very low so that I could get the leaves in focus and then shot out. But, you know, you look at it afterwards and you're like, oh, I could have done this, but I didn't. So this is what it is.
I like how low you are. I think that actually works really well. I do agree, though, that if you had like a little more leaves down at the bottom, it would balance the trees a little nicer.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious. I assume you cropped this. So what made you decide to crop it like this, out of curiosity?
It wasn't much of a crop, to be honest with you. I just brought the sides in to get a little bit less of, you know, the distractions on the side.
That is 5 minutes. Sorry.
Cool.
All right.
I
Thanks,
hate
Thank you
doing
very
that.
much.
I hate cutting
I know
somebody
it's hard.
off.
It's wicked hard. I get it.
There we go. I can move the thing. That's better.
I hate
All
that.
right.
Thank you, Robin.
Well, thank you.
Next up, Elaine Boyd.
All right, so this is Fungus Among Us. I had to name it. It's like, I don't know. I don't
Very
anyway,
good.
so anywho. So this was up in Maine at our camp, my annual walk in the woods. And I was a bit misplaced in the woods, and then I saw this mushroom and I thought immediately leading lines. And I definitely learned a lot with our presentation that we had at our in-person meeting, that lines in a picture doesn't necessarily mean that they are leading lines. But the bark of the tree kind of leads you up to the mushroom, and then there's a tree in the background that kind of leads you up to the mushroom and then branches off to the side. So I still have not been able to identify what kind of mushroom it is, but I love the colors, and yeah, that's it.
Cool.
I agree. I love the colors in this. It just all comes together really nice. The only thing I would do different in this photo, and this is totally subjective, is I would blur the background in that tree with the the pines a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think the bark of the tree, that line would be like super crisp that way.
I
Mhm.
did play around with blur and I got tired, and it's like, but I'll go back and
That's
I'll
fair.
try
That's
to
fair.
blur it some more, because it was really sharp and it's not really sharp anymore. But
No, it's awesome though. I love the
would-
mushroom. That's so cool.
thank you.
I would like to just second what Jacqueline just said.
Yep. I had other pictures where the background was really a nice blur, but the mushroom was also blur. I should have done some focus stacking and
Oh, yeah.
limited the
What-
stacking so that the background was blurred.
What
But
lens did you use? Were you
Yeah, I was about
close
to
to
ask
this
that.
or?
I was fairly close to it. It was I shoot Olympus OM system, so kind of multiply everything, but it was my 14 to
Yeah.
45 lens, zoom lens, and I don't know what focal length I was at, but oh, I like that crop.
Yeah, I was thinking what Ben's doing right now, they have longer tree bark or longer tree leading up to the mushroom. So a
Yeah.
longer line leading up to it.
Yeah.
Because where it was more centered.
Yep, you're right.
Yep, so I don't know how much you cropped the bottom off of this.
I didn't crop much on this
No.
photo, so
But yeah, I like what Ben just did. I was thinking about that too, just the longer.
Yes.
less that I have to blur.
Yes. I like that way.
Yep.
Oh,
I like it.
It looks like movement, even though it's not
Yeah.
movement.
It looks like almost like angel wings.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
See, I'm getting moose antlers.
Okay, Dave,
Oh,
I can see that.
don't say moose.
While
Moose
we're
is
at it,
on
I
my-
see.
on my
Sorry.
bucket list to photograph, and I would, oh my God. Even though moose don't have leading lines, I would submit that if I shot that.
Yeah.
Something I would consider doing is maybe darkening these leaves down here.
Yep,
They're just a little distracting.
yep.
Or get
No.
rid of them altogether.
Should you put a vignette on it, Elaine?
I did not.
That often helps, just that tiny little bit to keep your eye drawn in. Remember when we had the bird photographer Tony, and he talked about that celebration light, and so
Yes,
kind of that
yep.
same idea with the
Yep.
vignette.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
But just a tiny bit, and then it kind of just pulls you right on in.
Nice. Well, thank you for the suggestions. I do like the picture, so.
It's very cool.
I just think
that's really
mushrooms
cool.
are just awesome, period. Regardless, I just think mushrooms are awesome.
I don't like to eat them, but they are wicked cool to.
Yeah, I
photograph.
don't like to eat them either, but just the colors, the textures, the shapes, I just love mushrooms. I think they're
Yeah.
great.
If I go out to eat with you, I'll take your mushrooms.
Okay. Who said that?
Dan.
Dan.
Oh, okay.
My
Glad
nephew,
we have 'em.
my nephew is big time into living off the land, and he was out to camp, and there was mushrooms there, and he goes, "Do you mind if I eat them?" And we're like, "Have at it."
When I was in Girl Scouts, there was a lady that we were up at a in Thetford. It was year-end adult weekend, and she went around collecting mushrooms, and she would put them so that the little crinkle sides were on paper, and they dropped spores, different color spores, and she would make cards out of that. Then she'd pick them up and hairspray them. So, or yeah, she told me she used hairspray so that the spores wouldn't move off the thing. Really pretty.
Ooh, nice.
That would be 5 minutes on that one.
Yeah.
Nice
Okay,
job.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
pause the
much.
share real quick and alter some order here.
Okay.
That went the wrong direction anyway, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. Go the right direction. Okay, that'll work. All right. Who is this?
So I put this one
Dan
in.
Conley.
This is mine.
Okay.
I put this one in because so many of the things that I do with leading lines are just straight, and this one I just I surprised myself with this photograph. I didn't like it as much when I clicked the shutter as I did when I started to play with it, but I just loved. I liked the way that fence was snaking around. The snow had just fallen, and I like the way that that fence defined the space.
I think the fence in the middle works really well too, to kind of like reiterate almost that line and kind of give the middle of the photo something too that your eye is drawn to kind of bring you not only
Yeah.
around the photo but into the photo.
Right. Yeah. Too much negative space in the middle there would have been a problem.
It's a beautiful picture.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very cool.
I find myself looking at the shadows as I'm making my way
Yeah.
around it.
I know, I was just looking at that in the far corner of the shadow going around it, of the fence.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, those shadows are just giving it so much life in the middle of that photo, where if it was just all stark white or all shaded, it would get very, very boring. But having that fence just kind of bring you around, and then having all that texture with that the lights and darks kind of dancing in the middle makes it really interesting and kind of keeps leading your eye around.
Yeah, that really low sun coming through the trees. I mean, it breaks up that white spot space in the center just beautifully. Very, very nice shot.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't consider myself much of a landscape photographer, and this one was, I love the way you do that, Ben. You play with it.
Yeah. Keep talking.
Yeah, that almost works better because it
Starts
never
over
even
here,
occurred to me to
and
do it
then we
other than
send it back
the way
around.
yeah.
You
So
know, I
this
didn't
works better
like
because
it initially, but I do now.
if you flip it back the other way, Ben. So when he flips it back, you're going to see that there's a space between the house and the edge of the picture where your eye just leaves. So my suggestion was going to either be to crop it so that you were against the house so that gap doesn't make you leave, but with the way Ben flipped it, it then becomes an entrance, and then it's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
So then you're starting with the light. Your eye always wants to go to the brightest point of the photograph.
Right. Right.
So if we have that exit strategy, we don't want them to exit. But that way, it's bringing them in to
Yeah.
the photograph. But it's more powerful that way.
You've got with this direction, Well, the things that I see when I have it in this direction, like
Mm.
the big leading object here to me, if we think about the, enter the left kind of typical eye behavior, you have the block of trees here is almost like its own object. And that sends you in to here. Then I think you wander and find this and come back around, or maybe come back the other way. Going this way, I think you're more likely to, start here at the house. And there's 3 different directions you can go from here. You can follow the tree line up into the atmosphere. You can follow the whole set of trees over into this foreground. You can follow the fence down and come back around and end up here and do it again in a different direction. The empty space is almost its own object to follow. There's a lot of ways you can interpret it.
I kind of like it the other way because to me, like the house and the barn are the only things with colors that are different from the rest of the photo. And so I think it's cool to follow the fence in to the color.
Ben, do you have a grid that shows the the Nautilus spiral as opposed to the?
Yeah.
Just to let you know, there's like 16 seconds left. So
This
There we go.
there we go.
Probably a little hard to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
And which tool are you using, Ben? You have just such a repertoire of cool things
this
that none of
is-
the rest of us use, and you use them so well.
This is Darktable. Let's make that red for more visibility. All right. Yeah, I'm sure there's
All right. I don't want to
ways.
overextend my time here. Next.
But
But
it's
thank you
something,
all.
and-
And Ben, thanks for flipping it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna play with
yeah.
that.
Nice
I
shot,
know
Dan.
he just like automatically flips it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a cool shot, Dan.
thank you.
All right, let's see who we got next here. No, other way. Maureen Dittmar.
Well, that's a leading line.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit.
Is she here?
Is Maureen here? No.
Oh,
Where is that? I wonder.
let me see if she put anything in the evening.
I was thinking the same thing. It's such a neat angle. I wonder where it is.
I know.
There was nothing in the title.
Nope. Yeah.
Need
We'll
to
have
make
to
the
zoom in
title
on that
required.
sign.
Looks like it could be an airfield if those cars weren't there.
Yeah. I know, but what's the thing in the front?
My
It looks
like
like
a
it's like
walking-
from a cruise ship.
Yeah, that's
Oh
what it
yeah.
is.
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
I think it's just an observation platform,
Yeah.
a walking area.
my first
Or
thought was
maybe a
like an
loading area.
aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh. No
Anyone
idea.
Recognize.
Oh,
Oh,
what is
UPMC.
I know where this was. I don't remember the name of it.
UPMC?
She had
Yeah.
talked about
Pittsburgh?
taking a picture from down here because they had a presentation up in this building, I think.
Is this DC? Where is it?
That's not
What was on that
Pittsburgh.
building?
UP, University of Pittsburgh.
It's
Nope.
in Pittsburgh. It
Oh,
seems like
UPMC.
yeah, we're all Googling it.
No,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I don't recognize this.
That
We don't
looks-
have water like that
Oh,
there.
it's a health plan. Oh, it's the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center.
Oh, okay. That's very cool.
Very cool.
Oh,
Nope.
Nope.
So she did straighten her horizon, looks like.
Yeah.
right.
And the steeple back there is straight.
Yeah, no question where your eye is going in that one.
For me, my eye shoots straight down. And
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
across
All the way down the
horizon.
end. Yep.
I actually kind of don't pay attention. I didn't realize it was water until you zoomed in on the altitude. Because I just went straight down.
My eye
Yeah.
goes first to that painted T shape, the blue with the splashes of colors all over it, down at the bottom of the photo.
Yeah, that's your entry point for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play with this unless anyone has inputs.
I wish the buildings in the back were a little bit less blue.
Less blue, yeah.
Or like just maybe, I think that Ben was checking the exposure value, which is a really cool tool he's going over there. It was just a little underexposed back there, and she could have done that intentionally so you stayed inside.
Hmm.
It's a weird perspective, so it's difficult to sort of put it the way I'm thinking of, but
It's neat, there's lots of lines.
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing what a crop can do.
The position of the shot versus the main center line is not something you can really correct if you wanted to, but I do like it.
I like that last cropping you did, Ben, cropping out tight, making it, that
Yeah.
to that helps focus it better. There's a lot going on in the original image, and I think narrowing the point of view, I think helps give it more clarity. Clarity in the sense of meaning rather than any kind of technical clarity.
Brings you a little bit closer to the scene.
For this, I like that the the entry point up here is on the third. I like that the top of the T is centered, but in general, I think this is just kind of askew in a way that's uncomfortable, perhaps.
It's unbalanced,
think-
I think, is what it is. When
Yeah.
we crop it in, the right
Yeah.
side ends up having a little bit more water than the left side.
Mm-hmm.
And that is 5 minutes.
All right. Next up. Nope. This keeps going the wrong direction. Oh, I know what's happening. 1 second. My sorting keeps changing after I've touched the images. What's a good way to solve this? Yeah, we're just gonna go a little bit out of order and skip the ones when we hit them that we've already touched. All right, coming up is Jim Kender.
So this was taken 5 days before Jean Marie's presentation on leading lines, and this never even fazed me as a leading line picture until her presentation, because I started looking at the reflections in the water to bring me down into the center where I was trying to lead your eye to. Also, the land curves into that too. This was taken up on the Androscoggin River outside of Lewiston, Maine. I think a little town called Turner, Maine. Never heard of it, but I was looking for a water source in the foliage time frame, and the reflections I just led me in. So that's why I chose this one to be that leading line one.
Cool. Nice reflection.
Definitely nice reflection. You're lucky that the river was nice and calm. I have family in Turner, Maine, so yay.
Oh, you know where that is. Okay.
Yes, I
Cool.
do. Know it well.
Elaine and I are from the same hometown.
Just about across the river from each other. I keep forgetting to talk to you about that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a Mexican. She's a Rumfordite.
Oh, cool. And I didn't still the water, though. I shot this at like, I think it was 1/200th of a second at f8. So the water was very still.
Yeah.
The only thing I did on it is there were some leaves in the beginning, in the foreground. I cropped out or not cropped out, but I removed the leaves that were in the water. Weren't that many, but it was distracting.
Yeah.
I like how the the bright spot, the cloud and the reflection of that cloud are still in the center, so they still kind of drive you to the same point.
I was going to say the same thing. I really like that about this photo.
I love the colors. I love the exposure on this. I'm wondering what would you consider cropping it tighter? You know, taking a little bit more of well, actually, like a substantial amount of the water in the foreground out of the way. This is my personal bias. My bias would be to have that red tree way off in the distance that seems to be, the light at the end of the tunnel, set at one of the, yeah, there we go. Exactly. Thank you, Ben. You read my mind.
Yeah. Because I was trying to keep that dock in on the far right. I really like that reflection.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
When I try to crop this, like you were talking about, Dan, I was getting rid of that dock, and what Ben just did there, I like that crop better.
Mm.
Oh, that's even
I
cool.
think I
Yeah, I
think the
like
dock
that
is a
too.
little bit of a distraction.
Yep.
It does
Bring it over a
definitely
little
pull
bit
the
more.
eye.
You know, you can move that dock, right? It's easy to do.
Just find some ropes and cut them.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that better.
Much nicer.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm trying to decide how I feel about the really red tree to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people think. Is that distracting, or do you think that helps pull your eye to the further back really red tree?
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing because I see it as a bullseye. And I mean, it is the one red, or, that the brightest red tree right there. It is a bullseye. So I think when you are doing that cropping, that you have to sort of be a little bit careful to not put it right in the middle, because then you are going to lose the rest of the photo.
So crop it in a little tighter so that we keep the left third on that the red tree in the background, and put the right third on the red tree in the front, so they sort of echo each other.
I think when we were farther back, the that tree was less distracting. Now that we're tighter, that now it jumps out more to me.
Yeah, the one on the right, the sun was definitely blaring right on that side of the river. That's why it's standing out.
So one option you could
That's
do
not
is
bad. Yeah.
you could dim the one here at that cross point and let this one be the focus.
Huh.
So for me, I think about it's like pinball, like that light in the bottom starts me in, and then I bounce off the red tree, and then the light catches me again on the towards the middle, and then it sends me right to that tree. So that red one doesn't distract me. It gives me like a precursor of what to expect or what to come.
I agree. I like the red. I like both the red trees there. It's seasonal. It's supposed to be a seasonal shot, and the fact that you've got a bit of red mixed in with that green, I think helps.
Yeah, to piggyback off Monique, it's with the trees on the right that like I see a lot of green tones, or like those, a little bit more dull tones. The red tree right there kind of indicates like, oh, there's more color, and then that's when my eyes pick up on the far back red. It almost transitions the colorscape in my eyes.
I agree. I like it.
Yeah, I don't think that red tree that we're talking about, I don't think that's a huge distraction. I think the leading lines of the treetops and then the reflection of the trees, plus the shoreline, all kind of lead you to that very distant tree. It's kind of like an X marks the spot kind of deal.
Yep.
That was 5 minutes.
Thank you guys very much.
Nice picture.
Yeah, I love it.
Conversation sparked.
All right. And go the other way. Deb Boulanger.
Ooh.
Deb.
So this was
Turns
taken
into
on
a
my,
winery.
it was a winery. We were out in Chester viewing the Scarecrow people, and I looked at the sign Sandown. I was like, wait a minute, my favorite winery's around here somewhere. Well, it was less than a mile down the road. So off we went, and we're sitting outside with a glass of wine, and I'm looking at it. It's like, holy moly, look at all those leading lines straight down, leading straight into that orange tree. You know, you've got the bark on both sides, you've got the shadows, you've got the green path, you've got the vines on the side. I mean, I lost track of how many lines I counted.
A lot.
It's just a fun one. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
And the wine was good too.
That's the one in Lee.
No, this is in Sandown at Zorvino Winery. It's one of my favorites.
So I'm just looking at the angle here, and I'm wondering how much wine you'd already had.
No, actually, I really didn't. Honestly, I have to tell you, I really didn't have much at all. We were just going in for a walk, and I thought,
On you then.
let's go see what they've got. Yeah. No, it was just one glass. That was it.
No
Just giving this
judgment,
a little
Deb.
bit of-
Whatever.
And your husband was driving.
Absolutely. He didn't drink. He told me to get another one. Yeah, no.
This is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Definitely brings you to that tree. I love the trees on the side that are really tall that also kind of suit the back inside. The shadows are great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really appreciate the shadows on one side and then, you know, no shadows on the other side, obviously, but that's just a nice touch.
It was definitely a mistake, but I kept looking at it and looking at it. I was like, you know, I actually kind of like this.
I think that, yeah, I want the shadows a little darker.
On the left.
The one thing that draws me away from that central tree is the yellow leaves on the vines to the left. They're brighter than the tree. I'm wondering if it's possible to maybe darken those a little bit or lighten the tree just a little bit, because that central tree is clearly, you know, the anchor point for me in this image, and I love it. I love the composition, but I do find myself drawn off to the bright yellows on the left side of that row there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not super good with the masking in this yet, but
A linear gradient would probably help with that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was bright. It was bright out there.
Was it Saturday?
It was.
Yeah, Saturday was insane.
Oh, it wasn't this past Saturday. It was
Oh.
2 weeks ago. I
Okay.
wasn't around. I was out of town this past Saturday.
Yeah, that is better.
And now the sky
It's-
looks kind of odd on the right.
Oh
here.
yeah, it does.
Yeah. So another linear gradient would have to go in.
What about a brush?
That's what you
That's
do.
what we do.
Yep. A brush would work.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's drawing my eye specifically is on those vines on the left is like the very front ones. You can see like the white because of, I assume, overexposure. And I think even if just those white spots were corrected to be just yellow or, you know, photoshopped out to be the yellow of the vines, I think that alone would help for me.
Or just make the red tree brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and tone down the yellows and see what it looks like. But I do believe I did try toning them down. Because again, this was my phone. So I brought it into Lightroom and tried doing some small edits with that.
Makes you want to skip down.
Mm.
Was like a
It was
thing
a
that was
gorgeous
Wizard
day.
of the Oz and the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
You definitely nailed the leading lines, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love
absolutely.
the composition.
Nailed it.
Good job, Deb.
Thank you. It was purely by
Yeah.
accident.
All right. Any other inputs?
All right, I'll work on the brightness and the whites and see if I can darken up that tree a little bit and see where it takes me.
Let's see if I can get this to go the right direction this time. Nope. All right, Reed Cooper.
Hello. Okay,
pretty.
so I like to do misleading lines. So what we have here is obviously the light spot draws your eye immediately when you come in, the lighter spot with the water and everything off to the left. But then once you look at that and then you come back over to the trunks down in the lower right that are kind of pointed toward the water and to this path. This path that goes up into the trees here was all light leaves. I tried to darken it a little bit in the path itself to show that there's an alternate path going up into the woods here as well. So I was just playing with this. It's kind of like, okay, you've got two different vanishing points, if you will. You've got one out through the water, and you have another following this trail that goes up to the left of these trees here and goes into the bushes. So I kind of liked that and was playing with it a bit. This is a shot I took in Holderness, I guess about 2 days ago. I was just out playing around, trying to find something to shoot, and found this.
I am a huge fan of that idealized spiral. What is it called? The golden spiral? Is that what
golden mean?
Yeah. I'm seeing that spiral there now. I mean, I'm seeing the thick gray trunk on the right-hand side as sort of being the beginning of it, and just everything really nicely spirals in, and you've got that branch that seems to be hanging straight down in the middle of that light spot. You know, that gives you a good focal point. And I like the way I didn't see it. I might not have seen it at all if you hadn't pointed it out, Reed, that second the trail on the right-hand side. But yeah, I like all of the lines go in all kinds of different ways and they work together. I like it.
Thank you. That trail was much brighter with the shiny leaves. I had to darken it a little bit just to try to draw some attention to the fact that it's a trail through there, not just leaves. So I was trying to create some leading lines, if you will, to draw you up into there once you came back from the bright spot and you came back and started wandering up the trail. I see people first going into that water, it's the bright spot, and then coming back to the leaves on the foreground, and then going up to the right into the trail. It's almost like two vanishing points.
Yeah.
Well, that's good what you just did there.
So what I'm seeing, just as a feel, is that this side just feels artificially brighter than it should be comparatively, and nothing wrong with that. Now let's turn off that saturation change. I need to find a way to change that from defaulting.
I just want this for my desktop background.
Drawing the exposure on that a little bit.
You want this for what?
For my desktop background.
Oh.
I'm sure Reed would make it available for the appropriate price.
Absolutely.
So Reed, your plan works, because I did exactly what you did. Like you said, I'm going to go to the light first, and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to walk that path. That's exactly what I did. Unlike Dan, I think that tree hanging down, those leaves, I wish were not there just in the very center, because I want to see a little tiny more of that water. I love the balance of like the complementary colors of the blue water and the yellow orange leaves. I think that balance is awesome. It's like a yin yang. Really, really cool photo.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to mention is this weird shadow thing going on up in this top corner.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah.
Shadow?
Do you see that black?
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, wrong button.
There was one down in the left corner too, and I took that out. I didn't see the one in the top right corner.
Yeah.
Reed, you should have been more careful when you rewound your film.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, no, this is digital. Sorry.
But light exposure, man.
I'm showing my age.
It's a bummer. Hey, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Well, that frames it on the right.
So Yeah, getting rid of this. You could say that, having something beyond the tree trunk here is like, oh, what more is over there? And that, detracts from everything else. And perhaps, just making that the
I see
edge.
the path better that way without
Yeah.
like what you just said, Ben.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think you still got the ratio going on. You still got your, separate paths.
I think that was 5 minutes.
Good job, Reed.
Yeah, very nice, Reed.
Very nice.
All right. Next up, no. Why does this thing never go the way I need it to? I know why. Mike Erickson.
Oh, Mike, I know where that is.
Mm.
Wow.
Hi. Yeah, I was doing a little hiking along the Kank and this one popped out.
Coming to Wasset Overlook.
It is, yep. It was
Thanks, Mike.
just before all the trees started to fall.
That's an IR shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Infrared, yeah.
Very cool. Did you do that with the modified camera?
I did. Yeah.
What's the modification on that one?
The what?
On your camera? What is the modification on your camera?
It's a full modification.
Is it like full spectrum?
It's a full spectrum, yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was a 720 nanometer
Okay.
filter on it. And
I always love skies and IR photos. They're just gorgeous.
Yep.
My immediate thought when I look at this is I wish there was more of the ground in the foreground to kind of balance it out a little bit more. But I really love the like ridges of the mountains combined with the sky. In IR, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, my first thought was snow, and then I realized it was an IR photo. So all the white is actually green.
yeah, well, there's a lot of junk in that way.
Yeah.
There's an ugly path, big chair. So
That's
I
fair.
moved up to the fence that was there.
I like the way the path kind of leads into it, though. That leads into the gazebo.
Gazebo, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool shot.
It's
So
a very cool shot, and the colors just really make it better.
So to me, the path is a very nice leading line that just picks you up in the lower side, takes you right into the gazebo, and you go from there.
Yeah, that's straightened out pretty nicely there. That was bothering me at first, just the horizontal. But there's so many lines that it's hard to get that correct.
Yeah, I think just if the shot had been just a little bit wider, where you could straighten it without losing this little bit down here that starts a lead in, that would help.
I do really love just the full spectrum of the entire spectrum of all the gray tones. It's gorgeous, and all the the blackest blacks in that gazebo are just really fantastic. I just love that.
Thank you. There was a couple people in there in the gazebo. I said they didn't add anything to it, so I removed them.
Yeah,
You exterminated them, huh? Okay.
I did. They're no more.
I love it when people say, "Oh, I'm in your picture." Oh, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I can make you go away.
Do I
very
have to
quickly.
remind everybody that we're being recorded right now?
They say it all the time, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I
We're
meant
being
that.
recorded all the time. We've got a bunch of Amazon devices around our house, so there's no hope.
I do really like the sky. I'm not very familiar with infrared work, but
I think you lose a lot of the texture in the clouds when you do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You need more sky
I
than
like
that.
all
There
of
you go.
this.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sky is awesome.
Yeah, that's
But
why I
I
think
tried
the
to do all
bottom
those
just
things.
needs a little bit more for that balance. What do you use for editing?
This was Lightroom and Photoshop.
Okay. Have you played with like the Photoshop crop expansion tool at all?
Oh, yeah.
I have.
I think like just the tiniest bit more on the bottom would just like make the, I mean, this is totally in my own mind. But I think just the tiniest bit more would really balance out that photo and do kind of what Ben is trying to do with the crop,
Okay.
of creating that balance. So
I see what you mean. Yep. That would probably work too. Yeah.
And Mike, I think you showed me how to use that crop expansion. It works great. I've used it several times.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes, pretty
All
much.
right.
Good.
Good
That's
timing.
very cool, Mike.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Amanda.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Pretty self-explanatory. I was hiking. I had my phone, saw a nice bridge. It's a bridge.
Not the Stairway to Heaven?
No, I definitely had some pictures of granite staircases from other hikes that were possibly in the running, but you could see the end of those. And what I like about this one is the curve up at the top of the photo where you can't really see where it's going. It lends an air of mystery to it, I think. So.
yeah, I also like the dark sides coming into the brighter middle, and then the dark, like you said, over the bridge.
I like the textures in the bridge itself, in the planks.
Yeah.
You know, I think
first-
typically I would say that I think that the crop is a little bit too close to the like the top handrail, but in this one in particular, I love the fact that it is like you've given it just enough space, and then it puts so much tension like on that edge that it draws you right back into that middle, and it's way more interesting because you made that choice.
Well, in regards to the crop, one thing that I did kind of want some opinions on is you can tell it's not exactly centered. So I cropped it in a little bit from the left to center it more, but then that pulled it in a little bit closer to that curve. And I felt like I don't know, it changed the feeling of the photo. So I don't know if I'm more concerned with it being cropped to look straight or if I'm more concerned with that air of mystery at the top of the photo. So you guys let me know.
For me, the first thing I think when I see something like this is symmetry. So having it not symmetrical is a little bit of a bug to me, but this feels like the kind of thing that should be centered right down the center line. Obviously,
That you almost need to like make that decision that you are going to make it dead center,
yeah.
or you have to have it off. You have to have it obviously off and not just slightly crooked. You know, you have to make that decision on how you want to do it.
And it's also the kind of thing you have to make that decision when you shoot it. Like cropping this, if you look at the sides here, like as much as I can try to center the center of the bridge, the way these two railings hit the side of the image is different. So you would have to have your lens centered on the bridge to do it.
I almost would be interested in having the crop come down a little bit more on the top so that it crops like, I don't know, a third onto the railings. Yeah, just that top railing. Yep. Maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, something like that. And then kind of leaning into the like off kilter feeling, because like the photo kind of, like you said, takes you to this like question mark of a place, and you can almost lean into the like Alice in Wonderland falling down this whole kind of thing and feeling a little disoriented.
Let's put that.
Maybe bringing like up from the bottom a little bit too. And then you get a lot more of the like texture of the railings. I don't know. That might make it too bright right in the middle.
I think it really focuses this harsh
Yeah, I
texture
think it does.
here.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
If you want to get really crazy, let's go. You could play a lot with this, especially in the shooting of it, to put some weird Dutch angles on it with these curves.
I also wonder if like that very center of the photo that's very, very bright, if bringing the exposure down there a little bit to bring a little more texture in would help. Because right now we're losing a lot of detail there. And I don't know if it's, you know, it just, you know, was overexposed in the photo and it's not recoverable, or if there is detail in there. But if there is, it would be nice to see that instead of just a lot of white.
That's 5 minutes.
Good job.
One, Amanda. I like how you turn it
Yeah,
to that
very cool.
side. We'll definitely be trying to create some creative turns on some corners. Good suggestion, Ben.
Yeah, I could have some fun with this one. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Sean. Did you make it?
Nope.
All
Oh, well,
right.
he should be
Yeah,
coming.
to
We'll
wait,
come.
we
We can.
did. I mean, we tried. We waited an hour.
We can come back to it if you want to.
Ferrari, yeah, nice.
Yeah, why don't you come? Was Sean trying to come on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
skip over.
come
We'll
back to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, Matt.
Wow.
All right.
I can
So
smell the fumes.
so this was the other week. My wife and I were actually on our honeymoon in Portugal. This was in we were walking around Lisbon. We just happened to be going through this tunnel, walking to the next bar tapas place on our journey. So I'm shocked that this picture is as straight as it is. But we were walking through and it was getting dark. You know, I'm not a nighttime photographer, so I put the camera away and I saw this photo. I saw her walking and this kind of like saw the shot, like, oh shit, where's my phone? And just like leaned over the edge real quick, took the shot, and then put it into Lightroom. I actually using the Lightroom camera on my phone, so that kind of helped. And then there was a few people in front of her that I politely removed in post. I missed the guy on the right.
Lots of leading lines there.
Yeah, that's cool.
You don't have to remove everyone. I mean, in front of her looks very good as far as removals go.
Amazing what phones can do now. Just, you know, amazing. It's a nice shot. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, the Lightroom camera you can put almost like a filter, and I think I had it on warm shadows, and then I just kind of played around with that afterwards.
The lights on the third is really powerful. Those above lights and then the railing that's reflecting the overhead lights. Pretty powerful.
I think it's great that you were able to get that space before all the cars.
Well, that's why I was like fumbling for my phone, like, where is it? And I'm like, oh no, it's gonna go slow. And then thankfully my thumbprint took for the first time. But I was like, I need to move quick if I want this shot.
So if you ever want to do some night photography, you go back here and do a long exposure to get car light lines.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought about that and I wanted to. I was like, no, we're moving. We've been walking all day. If I had stopped, my legs were not going to go again.
Nice shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, your vanishing point is so far away, and it's so great how far like how far along it goes, and you are just following those lines forever, and it's great.
It's also neat that you can see it's actually pretty well lit outside the tunnel.
So maybe it wasn't as lit at night as I thought. The days kind of blur together at that point. Or just everything was blurred with the amount of wine.
Kind of amazing that on your honeymoon you were thinking about leading lines.
Yeah.
So at the time I took the shot, I wasn't, and then I saw the post about the leading lens. Like, oh, I have a shot for that.
There you go.
But I was allowed to bring the camera, but that we had to find the balance of like honeymoon time and Matt play around time. So I feel like this was kind of like I saw the leading lines challenge, like, oh, this actually works really well.
No, it sure does. And this the way you took it, right? This image right here looks like the tunnel was really long. But I know when Ben zoomed in a little bit, it's deceiving because it's not really that long. But
So
the way
we were probably about a quarter way into it.
Okay, so it is long. Yeah, it's a neat shot.
I thought I had brightened up in post, like the bottom right, like where the light of the road hits like that shadowy corner. I thought I had brightened that up, but just to kind of give that like entrance point of like the light. But I guess I worked on it after I submitted it.
Have you thought about trying it in black and white?
I did not think about that, but I definitely am not opposed to that idea because I think it would look really cool.
Yes.
There's a bit of brightening down there.
That is 5 minutes.
Ooh, I don't know. I might like that better.
That looks
rid of
really
the
cool.
yellows and things are the colors are sharper.
Yeah.
All right.
Something to think about.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing I can just copy the image and just have both.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Next up,
Thank you very much.
Lisa.
Lisa.
Ooh.
This was my annual birthday hike in July. I started from Pierce, which is behind me. This is Eisenhower, looking over to Monroe, and in the distance is Mount Washington. And you can see the leading line of the trail heading up Monroe over towards Washington.
Mm-hmm. So your trail is the leading line. Yep.
It is.
That's cool.
Absolutely beautiful hike. First 2,000 footers I've ever done, and it was amazing.
I just love that ridge line. Oh, Lisa.
Oh, me too, Asina. I was like, I stood up on the top of Eisenhower and I was just turning in circles. I was amazed. It was absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, my leading line is from Eisenhower over to Mount Washington.
Very cool.
Yeah, no.
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 Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Like that better.
Your light foreground kind of has two leading lines coming from either side, pointing you to the trail and then farther into the picture too, I think. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. The ridge. Yep.
What a day you had.
Oh, it was perfect. It was July, the middle of July, 70s. I think it was in the 40s when I started, which is unheard of in July. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Couldn't have asked for a better day.
Did the day end with ibuprofen?
No, it didn't. It ended with Hobbs Brewing Company beer.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
I always end my hikes with a celebratory drink somewhere. And now this was, as I said, my first 4,000 footers. And I always try to do something big on my birthday. So this was pretty cool. Felt like I was on top of the world.
Mm.
And I could touch Mount Washington, although I really couldn't. It was, I think, like 4 miles away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so deceiving when you're up there of how far away things actually are, because they don't look like
No.
they should be that far,
No.
but your legs will tell you otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Ben, what are you doing?
All right. So what did I do here?
I don't know.
Blued up the sky a bit. Just
Okay.
cause. Some local contrast to sort of sharpen things a little bit. Tone equalizer on mainly the shadow areas, just to kind of throw some contrast into it.
Okay.
I will say you definitely got a great focus range. You seem like you got the hyperfocal distance basically.
Yeah, I had my 24 to 105. I'm sure I don't even know. I have no idea what my settings were on.
That's
I
my
do
If
know
you're not,
after this hike, I decided I may never carry my camera with me again.
I've been there before.
This was a long hike with a camera.
Mhm.
Can you bring up the highlights in the midground a little bit? I really would love to see like the ridge going back like a little bit lighter. Yeah. But keeping the mountains on the side a little darker.
yeah, I'd have to do some masking for that, I think.
All right. Yeah, I think that helps bring the line in.
Yeah, we can just expand this little curve here a bit. There we go. And then just to balance things out a little bit. Just because with this edit, the foreground here is particularly bright. So put a graduated density there.
I like that.
That would be 5 minutes for me.
Very cool. Good story too.
Thanks.
Nice.
As
Very
I
nice.
said, I've done Mount Washington on my 50th. I've done Moosalak for my 60th. This one was my 61st. I try to do good ones.
It's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
All right, next up, Deb Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Gilmington with my adventure in Belmont. I went up to Smith Meeting House in Gilmington, and I thought there'd be more leaves on the trees, but the wind is blowing it down. But I love this gate, and I love going into the cemetery. Grace Metalius is in there, and my husband and I used to visit her grave, and I have a friend that's buried in there also. So I was standing in front of my car taking this picture.
Cool.
All right. What do we think for edits? Anything?
I didn't do much editing on this because it went from shadow to light, and I just wanted you to get the image of, the beginning of going into the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
The road takes you right through the gates. That's a leading
Yep.
line for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say that I really like how the tire marks are going through the leaves. It really helps.
This is, it's a little, it's a little deceptive, I think, because of the way the trees balance things at the top. I had a feeling the center line of this gate was actually going to be further to the left, but it's actually to the right of center, which is interesting.
Is the horizon line straight?
I think it's more or less straight. We could try to, line off of these trees here in the background, but it'll be difficult to find out where that's supposed to be.
The road isn't, I mean, the road is a little off balance too, because there is like, it is like on the top, well, I don't want to say a hill, but it comes up a hill. So I don't think the road is, even level.
Yeah.
If I can say it, because even the stone wall isn't, it bends as it goes down, because I was noticing that yesterday when I was there, and I'm going, oh no, the stone wall fence isn't even, it's not straight, it bends.
Zoomed out, it almost looks like, the bright spots on this tree are too bright, maybe blown out, but zooming in, it doesn't seem to be.
What if you zoomed in like, because what I think what's throwing me off is where the road is coming out on the bottom of the photo. What if you zoomed in like kind of midway? I'm thinking like pull it up from the bottom a little more.
Maybe change the proportion so it's more like a 4x5.
Yeah, exactly.
Proportion. Yeah. Yeah, because the wheel tracks there are important, but maybe a little less of them than in the original cropping.
Yeah.
That sort of tightens it up.
So I think that what's going on is when we're down here at the bottom, we can see that, this track is effectively right to the corner and this one is way off. But if we bring it up here, neither of them is going directly to the corner. So the eyes are going to be more forgiving about them being off center.
I think the other thing this crop does, which was what I was going to mention, was I think the gate seemed, even though it may be much farther past the gate, it seemed like the gate was in the middle of the road and lengthwise, and I think I'd rather see it either like this, closer to the front, or farther back, but not centered. And by this crop actually brings it so the gate's a little closer to you. I like that better.
Yeah, it's also putting the top of the wall on the third. But of course, we've cropped out the watermarks. We have no idea who took this photo anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
That's 5 minutes.
Very nice, Deb.
I was standing in front of my car. I just come out of the cemetery.
No worries. All right.
Thank you.
Next up, Monique.
So I've known about this challenge for like a year, and I had zero plan. And so I grabbed my external hard drive at lunch today. I brought my really old laptop that worked last week, so that was great. And now this is what I came up with. So it is at an f8, but I dislike that the pedals closest to me or closest to me to the screen are not in focus, but my B is pretty crisp. His wing is a tiny bit wavy, but he's alive, so, I can live with that. There was another tiny little flower at the top that I did get out, and I cropped it a teeny tiny bit.
I like how the stem brings you to the B.
Yeah, this is a really cool photo. I think you're absolutely right about the your f8 and the pedal focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I wonder if you bring up like the rule of thirds and the golden, all that, how it falls within those, because I'm not quite sure about the crop that you have.
Yeah, I feel like that there's just a little bit too much dead space on the right-hand side. I love the idea of it and having that be dead center on it, but there's too much distraction because it's too heavy on that side. And
It
it's
was
just
it was
it's
really,
taking
really
away
heavy.
from like there's so much brilliance going on and those colors are so vivid. That little bit of red in his eye and the yellow, purple, the gray, like you've got so much going on, and then all that black on the side, even though you have some variations in there, it's just a little bit too much on that one.
I would agree. That's where I cropped it out, was on that. There was significantly more negative space, but I like it tighter, and it probably was shot with a macro, I only imagine.
Yeah, I love how you have the stem coming up like from the top down, like that it's an unexpected angle for a flower to be at. I love that.
Thank you. I know that NHPPA competition would say this is a no-no, like you don't have that happen, but that's okay because it's a leading line. It works. It's following
Well, they're wrong in this point.
Yeah. You got to know when to break the rules.
That's right. So I didn't really understand with macro that you want to have like a really large depth of field, like an F22 in a macro. And so it definitely wasn't enough depth of field because your range is so tight because you're a macro, that F2 is just tiny and needed to increase that. So I definitely learned a lot, and these are really tough.
Because that part where the flower, just on the very top edge of the flower where it is really in focus with the little beads of water on it, they're so beautiful.
Thank you.
You had mentioned that the part of the flower that's towards us is blurry, and I do understand what you're saying, but my eyes just kind of flow right over that and go right to the bee.
Yeah, that you're almost like willing to overlook it.
Yep. Beautiful photo. Is it a bee or a hoverfly?
It's a hoverfly. It's
very cool.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
Oh. I worry about noise, and so I have been avoiding doing some significant cropping. So I did try to get rid of as much noise as I possibly could, but somebody put that fear into my brain, and I've got to shake it off.
Remember what Tony Baldessaro said in his lecture a couple weeks ago. It's like, nah, topaz or whatever denoising tool you've got can take care of that.
That's true.
I just purchased topaz, so
I have it. I just don't use it enough.
I like the denoised piece of topaz, but you got to be careful with the sharpening there. Sometimes it'll add lots of artifacts when you try to sharpen. So you got to be careful with that of it.
Mm-hmm. And when you're sharpening, play around with the different tools in your kit. For example, I did an A/B comparison between the denoise in Lightroom versus the denoise in the Topaz offers, and for some cases, one was better than the other.
Exactly.
Look, y'all just gotta get used to shooting ISO 800 film and learn to love noise.
Yeah.
That is 5 minutes.
Thank you very much for the feedback.
Cool. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, Monique.
I love hoverflies.
Asina.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Asina,
Oh
is there
my
anything
gosh.
Unmute
in a
myself and that
library
helps.
looking down. Holy smoke.
What?
I said, it took me a while to figure out what I'm looking at here. And it's like, I'm just intrigued with the point of view you chose here.
So I waited until last minute, of course, to take my photo, and brought my camera with me to work, and spent my afternoon trying to find something just right. And then on my way leaving my work, I decided to walk through the library and just see what they had. And I'm like, I know that they have a lot of really cool, like, iron racks and, for all the books and everything. I'm like, I'll find something in there. And this was just one of the ones that I shot where I just thought it was a really cool perspective, and putting in, like, honestly, I think if you, like, kind of look at it even a little bit deeper, that you have not only, like, all of your leading lines, but I just kept thinking about lines, and all the book lines and all the lines in the book, and it just, I'm like, it's lines upon lines, and they're going in every direction. And but those the bars that are holding up the lights, I'm like, you know what? This is just such a great weird angle. Not everything is exactly straight. I love that. You don't need the straight lines. It can be a little bit off kilter, and having kind of like the perspective that I was looking at isn't something that you would normally be looking for in the library. So I thought it was just kind of a neat place to be.
Were you standing on a chair?
No, I was going down the stairs.
Oh.
First thing I tried to do is find a book I had read, and I didn't have any luck at all.
Well, I think this is a cookbook section, so I don't know what to tell you, Reed.
I do see a cookbook.
Cookbook.
Start
Hey,
here.
look, start here.
Yeah. That leads you right
Very
in.
nice, yeah.
Oh, I own the Anthony
There's your
Bourdain
entry
book.
point.
I own that one.
I was really glad that it wasn't the self-help section, because I didn't need you guys all to think that I was completely crazy, but
I've probably read a lot of
I
those.
didn't need it to be obvious.
Oh, you're in good company.
Thanks.
I love it.
I did do it in black and white as well, and because I was a little bit scared that the colors somehow didn't work or not, I didn't like how it ended up being in black and white. It just takes away from it, and it didn't do anything to enhance any line, I thought. When I put the color back in, I was really happy with how the colors kind of all fell, and that they were all, I had no choice in where the colors were unless I was going to start rearranging the books, and they frown upon that. So I was kind of happy of just the mismatch of it. But I did also like the fact that if you follow the red books do kind of keep you moving around.
Yeah.
That there's enough, but not too much, and it does keep your eye moving around the photo.
Yeah.
I like that because there's no, like, you're not seeing the aisle between the books. You're seeing like books on top of books on top of books. It does draw you through. I think for me, the books draw me through more than the rails.
Yeah.
I wonder how this would look flipped on its side in a kind of a vertical. If you flip it left so that most of the titles would still be upright. I wonder how they'd look stacked that way.
You want it the original or as is here?
Well, I just take it as is to start with. You see how it looks flipped on its side.
All right.
Flip it left, because then most of the titles will be readable. Just out of curiosity, it's probably going to look better this way. But I was just curious when I saw that like that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's like completely different.
Whoa.
That is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That could almost be abstract.
Yeah.
That's really
Oh,
cool.
and
That's
with this
wild.
with this positioning, start here is right in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's pulling you up. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
That's
Christina, look
so
at that
different.
hidden gem.
you almost need to crop it tighter. If you're gonna do it at this, you know, with it spun this way, you almost need to crop so that you really do notice the start here.
Fun.
That's cool.
Well, I'd be really interested to hear what you, a little bit more feedback on the original way that I had put the photo.
Yeah, flip it back. That's your photo.
And versus playing around with it too much. I've already done my playing around with it, so I'd kind of like to see what everybody thinks about it, the way that it is.
Gone over 5 minutes, so I don't know what you want to do. Monique, what do you want to do? Hear more or not hear more?
You can move on. It's fine.
Okay.
Great shot.
I don't know how many pictures do we have left. I don't know how many we have left.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it has been 5.
Not many actually.
Okay. Well, it has been 5.
Yeah, I don't think. I think there's only 2 more.
Okay. And Sean hasn't showed up yet, right?
He's not going to be able to make it, but I agree we should stick with the 5.
Okay.
That's cool.
This is, what is this? Cara.
I believe.
Yeah, it's Kara. This is something I took in Vermont. What town? Couldn't tell you at this point because just traveled so many back roads, and the barn originally caught my attention, but I really love the fence.
Yeah. Takes you
Really
right
like Go ahead.
I don't have a lot of experience in focus stacking, so that's something I might start trying because I do have pictures of the barn that's in focus and not the fence. So that's something I'm looking at trying.
Yeah.
I like the angle. I think it's a great angle.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is there any way to straighten the barn?
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Take the barn a bit.
Has the
Yeah,
barn
or bring the
on an
crop
angle?
in a bit. I would almost bring the
Mm-hmm.
crop in so that that white beam is like either right on the edge or outside of the photo in that way, because that's really what's throwing us.
Is that it's at an angle, the barn?
Yeah.
Well, let's go with the perspective.
Yeah, because the
There's
fence
only
is
so much we're
perfectly
going to be able
straight.
to do. Because if we straighten the barn,
Yeah, about like that. There you go.
Oh, that's good.
That's better. I mean, it kept the fences pretty straight.
Oh, yeah.
Because the fence is really important to have that part, but I do like how that we just kind of tucked that up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool shot.
It is.
Yeah, that white part of the barn throws you off a little bit.
Can you try a crop that goes like through the top third of the flag and then brings it in on the left side a little bit? You can go a little bit higher. I want to get like more of the stars, but just kind of to like bring that into focus a little more. Because I think there's like a lot of really interesting details that are just kind of lost because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, but I think you're losing the flag in that crop. So
Right.
I think I would leave the flag and take out the white edge of the
I
barn.
would leave the white edge. Now try it like that, Ben. Yeah.
that's much better. I like that.
I like that.
That's good.
Nice shot, Kara.
Very nice
Thank you.
fence post.
Yeah, very cool.
Love it.
Thank you. I like that crop. Looks good.
I don't know if having the building in focus would detract from the, I think it would detract from that
Yeah.
fence post.
Yeah.
The way it is looks very nice.
Yep.
I like the colors too. They're not like strong. They're very muted, very soft. I like that.
If you had it the other way around with the building in focus and the wood out of focus, that wouldn't be right. The way it is now is perfect.
Yeah, I think when I took a couple with the barn in focus and the fence wasn't, it threw everything kind of off. It
Yep.
didn't look right.
So you got the leading line from the rail of the fence taking you right into the picture. It takes you right up to the flag and wraps you around. So yeah.
And how would it be if it was, again, I keep coming back to this 4x5 format or 5x7. Just get rid of a little bit more of the stuff, the stuff that's soft at the bottom on that rail.
Oh,
One moment.
So part of the reason that we have the maker speak for the first 30 seconds is so that they can explain why they've done the crops and organize the photos the way that they have before we go in and make some strong suggestions. So is there a reason why we had the foreground in focus? So like when Elaine was talking, I'm sorry, when Robin was talking about the leaves, she intentionally put all of those in. If we had started the critique and said, let's crop all those out there to distract them, they're in focus, we could have like squashed that feeling that she was having, like, well, I did that on purpose and may not want to talk about it. So if we can just kind of be aware of, there's a reason people are putting their pictures in the way they are. And I think that we can give a suggestion of like, how do you feel, Kara, about if we straighten out your building? I think it makes a stronger composition when we did straighten out your building. But I also want to be true to what you want to believe as an artist, like how much feedback do you want? And if it's too much, then I appreciate Athena saying, I really liked what I had done previously and I would want feedback on that. So I just want to be mindful that Scott Thorpe had brought that to our attention probably about a year and a half ago, that we really should pause and just take the photograph and listen to what the maker has to say first.
Yep.
Now that it's back, it's like, now my head tilts, like looking at the barn.
Right.
It's like, hold on.
I have a question for the experts. This is just, if she had put that on F22 or F18, would that bottom part of the fence have been in focus?
There's a strong possibility.
Pretty much.
The barn definitely would have been.
yeah. Yep.
Kara, I would like to mention.
Shoot.
Kara, I would like to mention that in this shot where you started with your story of saying that you were in Vermont, makes so much sense to have that barn crooked, because I don't think that in Vermont I've ever seen a barn actually stand straight. So I think this makes absolute sense. And
so
I love the fact that your fence post is straight, and it does give such a great leading line. If you are looking through that fence, you are seeing the posts on both sides, and it is a great leading line right through that fence post. And I think that the angle that the barn is at, you know, whether or not it makes you uncomfortable, it puts tension on that photo, and it gives you a strange angle, but it's not like it depending on how you want to take it. It's like that it just does push you, that it gives you that like almost like an uncomfortable feeling, like to a very serene little, you know, barn area. But like there's more to it than just that you made that option to put it like that, and I like that idea of it.
That's 5 minutes.
I like it that it's Americana. And that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I tend to I love barns in Vermont, and the ones with the flags always make me stop and look and see what I can get around it.
Did you take this from the road?
It's pretty close to the road. Yeah, it was like off of a main street, and I honestly couldn't tell you what town it was now. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, so we were able to walk right up to the fence, so it was not like far out in the distance. It was right.
Was this a Kendra?
We are super over time, so I'm going to interrupt you guys. Thank you so much, Kara.
Thought so.
Thank you.
Next up, Kate.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Kate's here.
Ooh.
Sorry, I didn't check my, Kate's typing.
She's typing.
Little Long Pond, Seal Harbor, Acadia.
Wow.
I don't have a mic.
Beautiful shot.
Oh my God, the colors.
Kate, I have to tell you, we were trying to get back to that spot, but we couldn't find any parking because there was only a few spots. I love it. And we didn't see it from behind the scenes like you did, but this is exactly what we envisioned, that red tree right there. I mean, it was just, so I'm glad you captured it because you got to see something that we couldn't get to. Yeah. Yeah. There was literally like 4 spots, 5 spots max at this spot. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Good thing there was no people on the trail, or they were down the trail and you can't see them.
Hey, you definitely have to post this to the group page so that Nikki can see it. Gonna tell her that's where we wanted to go. Beautiful.
The colors that
Thank you.
the colors that you have in here are just absolutely amazing. Like all the other colors, but that like weird purpley blue color that is coming from that mountain is like an almost like an indigo color, just like completes the whole thing for me. I'm a sucker for the mountains, so you know what I'm going to do. That line of the fence post is great. I love how you can kind of see it wrapping it back around. And the only thing that I will say as a commentary, which can you make the, thank you. The only commentary that I have on this is that I understand that you want to put your watermark on there, but you're taking away from your photograph by putting your watermark as big and exactly where that is, because you are taking away from that line. Your eye wants to follow that fence, and that's the only remark I would make as to make any changes on it. I love this.
I agree with that.
Quintessential New England in fall.
Yep. Cool shot.
Yeah, I keep walking. I just keep taking myself through all the different lines of light all the way to the water. It's really nice. Good complementary colors in the sky.
It's interesting that the fence shadow basically forms a railroad for you.
Yep.
Good point.
It's like one of those pictures you can step into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shadow confused me at first because it looked like it was low, but it looked like the shadow was coming from the tree on the right. Then I realized it's coming from the tree on the left because of the low lines of the other of the fence.
Yep.
Very nice.
I can see how that would be confusing.
That's beautiful.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Nice job, Kate.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice job,
Beautiful,
Kate.
Kate.
Yep, very pretty.
Ben, I think that Sean would still like us to critique his photo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he is stuck in another meeting that's only usually an hour, but it's already 2 hours in, and he doesn't think he's getting out.
Definitely an antique Ferrari, old Ferrari.
Sure.
Beautiful leading lines though, just kind of wrap
I
you
can
up.
smell the old leather.
Yes.
Yep.
Probably smell engine oil too, but that's a different conversation.
The reflections in the gears are really cool. On the gauges, I mean.
Yeah.
I also really like the contrast between the red, the lighter colored leather, and then the either darker leather or wood in the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wood in the steering wheel. That was before they started doing leather wheels. It was all wood then.
The windshield's a little tight to the top. That's not a lot of space up there.
Yeah, like that it almost needs to either overlap or give it just the tiniest bit more space on it. But because it's almost like it's almost kissing the edge, and you don't want that. But I find my like just with my mouse on, I was just kind of like swirling around the photograph that the leading lines are just kind of running you around in circles.
And maybe that's the whole idea with all those arches are to keep just circling you around.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the focus around the edge and really sharp in the center, it's just kind of keeps drawing you back to the center. Very well done.
And I like the dotted line of the stitching just around the edge of the leather on the next to the red.
Also a leading line.
Yeah.
Sean would want us to be nitpicky, and I would tell him the smudge on the windshield is it should go away.
Yeah.
I think that's a logo.
He would appreciate that, though. He would totally appreciate that.
Oh, I don't think that's a
logo of
smudge.
some
I
sort.
think that's
it's a
some
logo?
kind of manufacturing mark.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
Symmetrical.
It is
But
kind of
maybe it should go
symmetrical.
anyhow.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
So
it still
he
should
would
go.
not
I
appreciate
agree.
It is a little distracting, but now that I know it's a logo, I would be less distracted. I knew he didn't oversee that or overlook that.
I don't know much about Ferrari, so I don't know how important that is, but yeah, it if it was me, I'd want to smudge that out of the window. But to a Ferrari person, it might need to be there.
True.
Very cool shot.
Anything else we want to add to Sean? All right, is that it, Ben, or do we have one more?
No, that's the last one.
Yeah,
That
I
was the last
submitted one,
one.
but it doesn't seem to be in there.
Oh.
Colleen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not there, but I actually submitted it twice because it didn't seem like it did anything. And now I didn't.
I was
Did
noticing
you send it to the website?
No, I did on the website. I did that submit your photo thing.
Yeah, but it
And what-
doesn't tell you if it uploaded the photo. It just kind of leaves you hanging. So
Yeah.
I got a confirmation that mine was submitted. What was the
I
name
got
of your photo, Colleen?
I think I
Um,
got a confirmation too.
Yeah, I did too.
Let's let her talk.
I think it's the difference between Safari.
Let her talk, please.
as,
Colleen, what was the name of your photo?
leading to a dream house.
I don't see it in the
I
upload
don't see
list.
it as submitted.
Okay. But so we should get a confirmation because I definitely didn't get one.
I did not get one either. I'm looking in my emails now and I did not get one.
No,
So it
it's
wasn't in
not.
the email.
It's not an
No.
email. It says on the bottom. It says your post was successfully submitted.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
I can look into doing an email confirmation. Maybe that would be helpful.
And Colleen, you were logged into to your account, correct?
Oh yeah. I went
Okay.
through the whole process. It just didn't.
Okay.
It didn't seem like it went anywhere.
Well,
Sorry about
you have
that.
it on your computer and we can do a quick screen share?
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
Okay.
That's called thinking outside the box, folks.
Okay. Let's see.
It's
If I
York.
can make it bigger.
It's a,
Can you see it?
Yep.
We can see it.
Wow.
I actually had a specific question. I took this picture with just the house and the lines of the lawn leading up to the house. And then I took it with the street visible, and I wasn't sure if the street made it confusing and it would be better with just the lines going to the house, but then it was so obvious that the house was the focus because it was like right in the center and huge. And the street kind of made it so your eye had to look for the leading line to take you to it. So I don't know
It
which
works
do
well.
people prefer.
I agree. It takes you up around to the house, and then those lines in the lawn take you right into the house.
Yeah, the road definitely wraps you into the house.
Yeah.
So it really is an enhancement to that, other
then
than
you-
just the grass.
And then you have the hedge too.
Yep.
With
That
the
wraps you right
Pumpkins
around
on
it.
top.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you have a lot of leading lines in there.
I also really enjoy the pumpkins. Like
The house
all
does
going
that every year.
That's cute.
And then even the mums on the stairs are leading you even further up.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Lots of leading you. And then look at the house itself.
Yeah.
I definitely think the road adds to the photo.
Okay. Thanks.
I like it. I like it. I was trying to think of like, would I like it if there were better if there were clouds in the sky, or do I like the negative space? And I think I like the negative space
Okay.
because
Yeah,
then it gives the road that purpose.
There's not one cloud up there at all.
Colleen, I hope you post the other version without the road and just the lines on the lawn. I'd like to just see them to do an A/B side-by-side comparison.
Okay.
I wonder how this would look in the fog.
Ooh.
Probably cool.
I don't think it would have looked like anything this morning. It was so thick.
Well, I don't know where she's positioned. You know, it would have, I think it would have diffused it. I don't know how much, but
Oh, Deb, trust me, I had to drive to Kittery. You could not see at all in that fog this
The
morning.
worst fog I've seen.
Yeah.
okay, a little fog.
A little fog. But I
Little fog,
agree.
like that kind of grounded fog would be awesome. But
I wonder what this would also look like in the morning. Early in the morning as the sun coming up. This is a fun photo. Boy, you can really play around with it.
Yeah, the warm sunlight on that, Colleen, would be beautiful. The golden light.
yeah, I was too late to hit that. It was more like 9:30, 10 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah. No. I'm
9:30.
just saying that if you had had that opportunity, the warm golden light on that would have been really pretty.
Yeah. With a slight fog. Stuck on fog now. Oh my God.
Hey, Deb, you want to throw in the aurora in there somewhere too?
Yeah, well, you know what? I bet you could have seen it that night.
Probably.
Yeah, they probably saw it from these windows.
Do we have anything else for Colleen?
Very nice, Colleen.
No, very nice.
No,
picture.
nice job.
Nice job. Well, that was a lot. That was great. I think we had 18. I think last month we had 17 or 18.
17.
Pretty great. What did we have, 19?
17.
17. That's pretty great. Pretty great. Thank you all for taking the risk of putting your images out there and being willing to hear the critique and feedback. We always appreciate it. I know, I actually really like not being able to know when my photo is coming up then. So thank you, because I start counting and then I get anxiety, when's it coming? And yeah, so I appreciate the way you have it set up way better.
I like how a lot of us go out at the last minute and do this.
So you can choose to use the image that you put in critique tonight for the show if you wanted to. You could take our suggestions and feedback and use them or not. But it's not required that you have your photo critiqued. But we would love to see your photos in the show. It just does have to follow the leading line theme, which we've seen is pretty easy to do. We've found lots of ways to incorporate that into our work.
If you do use one of the photos tonight, though, do not put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and make sure your name is not on the photo as well. You've already watermarked it. Otherwise, if the judges see it, they are unable to judge it.
Are we allowed to enter 2 again this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I hope we have plenty of space. I mean, we can take over all the long hallway and the whole front room, so we should have ample.
Yeah, that holds a lot of pictures in there.
So
And if anybody wants to help hang, you can, or volunteer with any of the stuff for the winter show, we would be happy to hear from you. Getting ready to start the next adventure.
So my question is, Jacqueline, did we impress you enough for you to want to come join our crazy group?
Yeah, I'm bummed I wasn't able to submit a photo. I have like the perfect one, but that's right, next time.
Yeah, become a member and you can do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm also a very big infrared person, so I was very excited to see an infrared photo. And the one I would have submitted was an infrared photo. But
cool.
Well, Athena, thank you for bringing her along.
Yeah, I'm so excited we met.
I like finding my people.
All right. Well, if that is all for tonight, I'm going to let you all go and enjoy your families. I'm probably just going to go put my comfy clothes on and go to bed. And I will, hopefully this saves up nicely, and I will put it up on the Facebook page in the next couple of days.
Good.
Bye, guys.
Have a wonderful
Night,
night.
all.
Have a good night.
Thank you.